It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome back to another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I am Zachary Smith. That, of course, Alan Saunders. A lot of green behind us today. A little bit of a different, I guess, space than we were seeing the entire sky before. So maybe a bit different space. But how we doing, Alan?
We're doing good. My phone overheated yesterday, so I'm hiding in the shade to try to keep that from happening again. Also, I didn't need a lot of inspiration to be like, yeah, go in the shade. It's hot out here today, man. I don't complain about it very often, but today was a warm one.
I text you every day just because to let me know when you're ready, because as soon as I clock out, I can be ready whenever. And your response was trying to work up the desire to walk back outside. So yeah, I could tell that you were feeling it today specifically. But a lot of stuff going on in late. Oh, by the way, I guess I should get your opinion on this. I don't know if we talked about this before. Are you with the locals? It's got to be Latrobe, not Latrobe.
Latrobe is technically correct, which, as everyone knows, is the best kind of correct. Latrobe, according to the local lore that I'm familiar with, came into usage because the conductors on the Pennsylvania Railroad, which has a station, still has a station right in downtown here, would announce the stop with a very extended, emphatic, sort of like a Mike Lang goal call, right? Latrobe, and then that is how locals, because that's the only people who that really affected, eventually started to call it Latrobe instead of Latrobe. Latrobe is, like I said, the original pronunciation. I don't think you can really go wrong. I think you can call it whatever you want.
Okay. How that's such so true to the area though, to call it something that it isn't technically correct, for the locals to be the ones to do it. That's why I love it so much. So I try to say Latrobe if I'm around. So we have a shop and save. What I do for my day job, one of our stores is shop and save that's out there. And when they call in, they definitely put emphasis on it. They're this is Latrobe shop and save. So I'm all right. I can tell. But anyways, good stuff. Let's dive into what actually happened today on the football field. Not only was Pat McAfee there putting on a show, and that was very entertaining. I was able to tune in to that with several members of the organization jumping on there, but we got our first padded practice supposed to happen yesterday, a push back today. So that happened today. So great day for them to be there. And before, we got recording here, I always ask hey, what do you want to talk about? You're I could probably talk about for an hour plus just on what happened in practice today.
Yeah, it was very eventful. So we get the first padded practice, which means first team run periods, the first 7 shots and pads, the first backs on backers, the first offensive line, defensive line, one-on-ones, just a whole different practice basically compared to what we had the first 4 days. Outstanding day of practice today here at St. Vincent College. There were a ton of people here. I think for a weekday practice, this is the most people I've ever seen here. It was packed to the gills. I waited I'm staying 1 mile from here, and it took me 20 minutes to get in because all the cars were everywhere. You just couldn't even move. It was incredible. The passion was evident. The cheers were big, even from the beginning. Had Calvin Austin doing the whole "how many footballs can the punt returner catch" thing. I think he had 6 or 7. He did pretty well. But it was just a great environment. And then the guys, man, they've been chomping at the bit. I think every team wants to put the pads on at some point. I think the fundamental nature of this team, an offense that wants to run the football, a defense that wants to get after the quarterback and play smash mouth football, they don't feel like they're doing their job without hitting people. They want to get after it, and they've been raring to go. You could tell there was some extracurricular activities today. There was some spilling over. It was fun to watch. If you watch one training camp practice this year, this was a good one. This was a really good one.
Okay, so I was going to ask, like we talked about the Friday Night Lights practice, them being cognizant of the environment and like trying to match
That's
what the
usually
crowd
pretty good
energy
too.
is. And just the way that you were kind of building this one up, that was going to be my follow up. Was if you felt like the team did a good job matching the fan energy and delivering in that respect.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it wasn't quite Friday Night Lights, but it was everything else. It can be for sure. One of the more intense practices I can remember here at St. Vincent College.
Do you
Guys were hitting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we were looking forward to backs on backers. Obviously, that was the first day of this, but I wanted to start off by, 7 shots. We knew that Tomlin had said Broderick Jones was going to be in pads back practicing, but then he didn't participate in the 7 shots. Didn't know if there was any further clarification on that, or like if it was just him sitting out that period, or what was going on there.
Yeah. So he did individual work and stretching today, but not teamwork. I assume teamwork will be maybe even tomorrow. I would assume tomorrow's practice will not be in pads. I don't think they are allowed to go 3 days in a row, and they're going to want to be in pads for Friday Night Lights. So I would assume that tomorrow will not be in pads. So we may even see Broderick Jones tomorrow.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Starting within that 7 shots, though, I guess you can just kind of from start to finish, we'll go through, what they did and who maybe stood out and stuff like that. I know, everybody keeps their notes on 7 shots, something like that. Anything within that drill that stood out to you, whether it was a play that they ran, anything like that?
Yeah, they ran the first rep. They ran like a goal line defense, like 4 interior defensive linemen plus 2 outside linebackers. But after that, they ran nickel the whole rest of the way. They're going to run nickel. I'm telling you, in every circumstance. Yeah. And they blitzed out of the nickel, and Deshaun Elliott came free and got his hands up in front of Aaron Rodgers, batted down a pass, and they blitzed out of the nickel, and nobody covered Jonnu Smith, and he got a walk-in touchdown. So that's the the kind of give and take of blitzing. But, I mean, I think that's what they're headed for, is that nickel defense is going to be almost everything. They ran the ball 3 times in 7 shots. Jalen Warren scored. Caleb Johnson went to the right, got hit by Estezio Tomowo and Joey Porter Jr. Porter had a really good day tackling, man. He laid the wood on some guys to a level that I don't think I've ever seen. Gosh, I remember his rookie year. He was over here flailing and whiffing at guys. And now, I mean, he was putting the hit stick on Caleb Johnson a couple times. Estezio Tomowo went down after that play and did not return to practice. So there's one significant injury from today. And then Max Hurleman went up the middle, and Jack Sawyer had a tackle for no gain, came around the edge, and sort of the D-line stopped him up, and Sawyer kind of got him around the hips. Tied 3-3 after a Brandon Johnson touchdown from Mason Rudolph, and then one's back in Aaron Rodgers, play action, corner route, DK Metcalf, slay all over him, no chance, touchdown. That connection in the red zone is going to be nasty. I think
wasn't it Slay covering him on the one that we talked about last week where it was like unguardable? Yeah.
I mean, it was play action, and they picked up the extra blitzer. Rodgers had time, and it was a double move back to post corner, back to the corner, and ball 2 feet, no problem. Rodgers is so accurate. Metcalf is so good with his size and strength and physicality that you just can't get around him. Like, even if you're right there, you just can't get around him to get to the ball. Slay had good coverage. That's a good offense beats good defense kind of play. So another win for the offense in 7 shots. Then we went straight into backs on backers. If you're a watcher of practice here at St. Vincent College, 7 shots is in one corner of one end zone. Back on backers is in the other corner of the other end zone. So had to get a little wind sprint in there to get from one to the other. I thought the defense dominated backs on backers. I mean, just like last year, I thought the offense really, really got the better of that drill. I thought Najee Harris and Jalen Warren really brought an edge to it that I've never really seen the offense have before. And usually it's a drill that's tilted towards defense. That was the case today. I mean, it was just a butt whipping. I thought the tight ends did a little bit better maybe, but the backs and the backers was dominant. I mean, I did have Warren beating Queen, but Devin Harper beat him. Malik Harrison dominated Caleb Johnson. Cole Holcomb dominated Trey Sermon. Mark Robinson, there's an impression of Evan Hull somewhere on the ground where Mark Robinson drove him into it.
I'll
Carson
look for it.
Bruner.
Yeah.
Carson Bruner beat the new guy Lou Nichols and also beat Caleb
Mm.
Johnson.
Mm.
Peyton Wilson. Oh my goodness, went up against Kenny Gainwell. Bull rushed him the first time, gave a win to Gainwell. Bull rushed him the second time, gave the win to Wilson. Bull rushed him again, kind of a draw, right? So it was like 1-1-1, and then the last rep, he just put his feet in the ground and stopped. Gainwell had all his momentum going forward, and Wilson just little hand swipe sent him flying. Kind of gave him a little wave on the way by as he went in after the quarterback. Just probably the most dominant victory of the day. I thought it was a bit of a.
So
Go ahead, yeah.
as I say, so with them going against each other that many times in a row, is it coming back around in a rotation, or is it just they get back up and just go again? Like they're like, hey, we want another rep of these two guys.
Mostly they just get right back up, but they actually went early and then came back to that matchup. So they went first. Gainwell, I had a Gainwell win, and then they went back to it later, and it was Wilson draw, Wilson just throwing him out the club. Outside linebackers, I had Darnell with a win on T.J. Watt. I had Connor Hayward 2-0 against Echo Leota. Patton Highsmith with a nice little. You could call it a Farmouth win or a draw. He got pushed back, but he didn't didn't give up his shoulders. Washington got Leal, but got beat by Highsmith. The new guy Folsch got beat by Julius Welshoff twice. Not a great debut there. And oh my God, Nick Herbig against JJ Galbraith was just an annihilation.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides. Yeah,
I did have Galbraith beat. Galbraith did beat Sawyer. I didn't think Sawyer was great.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't think any of the rookies looked great today. Sawyer was didn't seem to have like an elevated pass rush plan, which you could kind of see on tape sometimes at Ohio State, where he's just kind of big and strong, but didn't really, doesn't have like a move set per se that looks like NFL ready. So I didn't think he looked great. We'll get the D lineman later.
Okay.
And then Caleb Johnson, not just in backs on backers, but today was a welcome to the NFL day for Caleb Johnson, I think.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way just from kind of following along there. And to be honest, when a day like that happens, the thing I'm most curious about, now I know tomorrow might not have pads or anything like that, but like the response too. Like, you can't stack days like that. Stack good days, not bad ones. So I'll be curious as to how he responds to a day like that going forward. So we'll see. But okay, moving along. What was after Backs on Backers? Do they go into team period or?
Yeah. So we go into some team stuff. Actually, Aaron Rodgers said this morning he feels like you learn more from bad practices than you do from good ones. Thought that was pretty interesting.
What would he know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. He also said he hasn't been at a practice like this in like 10 years, which should tell you. Lee Harrison said it's just like the Ravens, though. So the AFC North is just a different breed of football.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When Aaron was on Pat's show, kind of talked about it, just like obviously the environment being way different than a lot of things he's in, but even just like the physicality of the practices, he was like, yeah, I don't really, he's like, other than my first couple of years, maybe with Mike, talked about Mike McCarthy. He's like, he's like, honestly, I don't even know what to expect because I haven't had a practice like that in a while. So,
yeah. He was saying, he's like, I when we get into like obvious runs, I want to check out, like we're in a run, they're in a obvious run heavy look. I want to check out of those. Like that's sort of what the offense is designed for me to do. But also, I just kind of want to give Jalen Warren the ball and see what happens. Like just as an observer, I kind of want to just see. Is like they're all over there. What's he gonna do? Give him the ball anyway. Jalen Warren was great today. I thought he was probably the best running back on the day, and he looked really good. So going to a team period here. Not a great start for the offense. Another low snap from Frazier on a shotgun. Rodgers missed Johnny Smith on a screen pass, which you shouldn't see. There was another Deshaun Elliott blitz that got pressure on Rodgers, and he threw low to Roman Wilson on the slant. They eventually kind of got going. A bunch of play action today. I think if you are looking to see that from the Steelers offense, I saw a lot more of that. They threw like a play action go to Brandon Johnson that was incomplete. They threw a nice deep dig to Roman Wilson on a play action that went for like 15 yards. That was from Mason Rudolph. And there's a really nice third teamers, of course, but Skylar Thompson to Rock Taylor back shoulder completion, about a 20-yarder there as well.
Rock Taylor, have stand up.
There you go. Getting to the second, I thought, just the tackling. They were running to the ball. They were hitting people. There were dust ups. Joey Porter had a big tackle. Hit Caleb Johnson. I mean, crack, like audible hit.
Could you imagine saying that about Joey, in his rookie training camp? My goodness. I think I understand last year was, because of the penalties and stuff, it could have been frustrating, but think about like the leaps and bounds that he's taken in that area. I think that needs to be acknowledged in a positive way as well.
Absolutely. He's a far better tackler. Jalen Warren was running wild. They did eventually get Caleb Johnson going, although I think it was just really good blocking more than anything else. The second team offensive line with Dylan Cook out there, Calvin Anderson, thought those guys were really good today. They set the edge really nicely. Just a lot of stuff in the middle of the field. We had Jonnu in the middle of the field open, and Rodgers' pass was a little bit high. Juan Thornhill was lurking. It was a bit of a hospital ball there, and it went through Smith's hands, but then came back and got Roman Wilson for a nice little 10-yarder on a long drag route. We got Mason Rudolph running a bootleg and scrambling, which, that happened. And then we got into some O-line, D-line one-on-ones.
You said John, and this is not related, but I was just thinking I saw the clip of Jonnu, and he's wearing like full white sleeves, and he's even got like the leg sleeves on and stuff like that. Considering the weather conditions, and there's a lot of guys that wear like the sleeves, like coaching staff. Omar will be out there, and like, is there a reason? Am I missing something in terms of this? There's no way these guys are cold. Like, this cannot be comfortable for them. Do they want to be uncomfortable?
So there's actually a school of thought when it comes to staying cool that you want light, loose layers over your skin, and it like creates an air barrier with your sweat. So like your sweat cools the air that's trapped closest to your skin and actually keeps you cooler than having short sleeves on. A lot of guys down that are like from the South, like from Florida, and are used to dealing with that heat all the time, sort of swear by that thought process. Some of them are also just stubborn.
Nuts.
Like Daryl Young, the player development coach, was a fullback for the Redskins back in the day. He wears the same sweatshirt every practice. 90 degrees, 0 degrees, doesn't matter. Same sweatshirt. That's all he wears. So, like, Mike Tomlin wore shorts today. That's pretty like bare.
Honestly, they seem like they were like, those might have been like a 5.5-inch inseam. I was like, he's showing off like some thigh there as well. Those weren't just like regular shorts.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. So some acknowledgement of the heat, but like, yeah, I do think a lot of the Southern guys sort of get used to that, like cover your skin, and especially like light colors. Like you'll see, like Jonnu Smith was wearing a lot of like white undergarments. They swear by that. So
okay. Anyways, not to take us off the track there, but that sometimes happens here. We went off-roading on the afternoon drive there for a second, but
we're in the forest, so we can do that.
but back to the conversation there. I don't even. Well, obviously we talked about Jonnu, and he said a lot of over middle of the field stuff, play action stuff. But I don't know where that was going beyond that before I jumped in there about the.
No, I mean I think that was kind of it. Just like I think you're getting to see the Arthur Smith offense really the way it's supposed to be run. In terms of run the ball, play action, middle of the field, digs, drags, in breakers, posts, and then double moves. Like, it's when you get used to the ins, it's back shoulder, it's post corner, right? And then you hit a big play. And I think it looks like a much better designed offense this year because I just think the pieces are more capable of running what he's trying to do.
Have you seen yet, of course, very early here, first padded practice, a conscious effort at all within the offense to maybe get some more free releases and stuff for the wide receivers? I know that that's something that we've talked about. Obviously, like they got to do their job, but there is things as an offensive coordinator where you can make life a little bit easier for those guys as well.
Yeah, I think play action's one of them. I think motion's one of them. We haven't seen a ton of motion yet, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing or not. I have seen the motion used very specifically to do that, though. They got a free release for Calvin against Joey Porter. He torched him early on the first week using motion, bringing the tight end across his face. So I definitely think there's some of that. I haven't seen a ton of it yet,
Okay.
but there's a lot of tight splits. You know, we know that there's a lot of unique looking formations where you got the tight end outside. They ran a 0-4 personnel for one play and walkthrough today.
Yep. I think it was
No
wasn't it
running-
very early.
No running back,
Tweets.
4 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. So
Yeah.
I'm
Didn't
curious to see
I
where
don't
they
know
go with that.
if we see. I don't know if when we brought it up here, if it was supposed to be a joke or not when we said it, but like kind of had the feeling we would. I mean, at least in training camp. Now, whether we see it in game action, TBD. But for sure, thought that we'd see it in this setting at least. So whether we were joking or not, it happened.
There you go. Now we just need Darnell in there as a Wildcat quarterback,
Yes.
and we'll be happy.
Yes, absolutely. All right, going further. Anything else you felt like discussing?
Yeah, we got the O-line, D-line one-on-ones, and man, I thought the young offensive lineman really stood up in this one. No Broderick Jones again, but didn't seem to matter. Calvin Anderson did well, but Troy Fautanu, I got him 2-0 against TJ Watt.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I've ever said that before. That's a big deal. He kind of downplayed it when I talked to him after, but that's a big deal. And then everybody else was like pretty much winning. Like I got Harmon 1-1 against McCormick. I got Benton 1-1 against Frazier. Loudermilk 1-1 against Spencer Anderson. But Calvin Anderson over Alex Highsmith 2-0. Dylan Cook over Jack Sawyer 2-0. Going down the list here, Doug Nestor over Y.A. Black 2-1. I don't think there was a single defensive player that like truly dominated their reps like 2-0 or anything like that. Like everyone was at worst a draw and a lot of good reps from the offensive line.
Good stuff. Love to hear it. I mean, obviously, especially the Troy thing. I think that's the big takeaway from this. And I'll be curious, you know, he mentioned stacking days there, you know, going forward. I think there's a lot riding on him, obviously, this year. We've spent so much time talking about Broderick, but Troy obviously needs to step up in a big way, and great start there. So,
yeah, he said the knee was still, it's not bothering him, but he said it's kind of in his head still a little bit where he has to realize like it's different game when you're getting bull rushed. He's like, you know, that doesn't happen when we don't have the pads on. You know, I have to be able to trust the anchor that I have it. He's like, I can do it, but it's just in my head a little bit still. He thinks he can be even better. I thought he was great, and he thought he was just okay, which I think is a very good sign.
You know, I don't know if this would even get brought up at all, but I was just wondering if there was still any conversation from him, whether it's like, again, I don't think he would bring it up, but I'm curious if anybody's asked him the question about like if he had to play left tackle or if he is just like exclusively the thought is now right tackle.
Yeah, nobody's even brought it up. I don't think they're even talking about it, so I'm not going to be the one to bring it up.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not. I was wondering if it came up in conversation, especially with Broderick missing a couple days. I was curious if it got brought up at all within that point. But okay. Moving along. Anything else?
That's all the notes I got. We had another team period there at the end, but yeah, I mean that's a good solid practice right there.
Yeah, I can't wait to be out there and just see what. Again, I haven't even gone to Friday Night Lights practice as a fan in the past. I've only been to like a handful of Steelers training camp practices in general. When I was out there for 2 days last year, that was the first time I've been out there for multiple in the same year. So definitely looking forward to getting back out there. We did get a question, and this isn't directly related to like what's going on the field right now, but I do think it's interesting to this is more of like a process, I guess, thing for you and just like the relationships that you have. Question for the pod: is there ever any beef between Steelers reporters and journalists? I would think covering an NFL team is a fairly competitive line of work, seeing how close it seems like you are with the likes of Carter, Faribault, Backo, etc. I've always thought it was cool that the Steelers beat seemed pretty cohesive, but it would seem like sometimes there's got to be a level of competition or maybe frustration if y'all are trying to get the same stories out, especially this time of year covering training camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cordial group. I don't really think there's anybody that doesn't get along with anybody else on a regular basis. My experience in media is that it did not used to be that way. But I think, the way the media landscape has changed, I think it didn't used to be that way because people were entrenched in roles, and they would, say, you'd be the Pirates writer for the Pittsburgh Press, and I'd be the Pirates writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and we'd go against one another for scoops every single day for 25 years. Like, that's how you get animosity. I've worked with Faribault, I've worked with Carter, I've worked with, a bunch of other people, and I'm just as likely to work with them again in the future as I am compete with them for the rest of my career. So I think the way the media landscape has changed, it's just a lot more collegial. And I also just think, that was the thing of an older generation. I don't feel like we're as competitive. I want to get stories, I want to get scoops, but when I get beat, I'll send a text message and say, nice scoop, good story, cite their work and move on. Like I don't, it never gets nasty, at least not with the Steelers beat right now. It has in other places I've been in the past. But that's not what we got going on. I think we got a pretty friendly group.
I don't know what Alan's talking about, guys. I was out there for 2 days last year. I saw a bunch of brawls. I saw more in that media room than take place on the field. So, no, but honestly, it does. Like outside looking in for the most part, it certainly seems that way, and it's awesome to see because I mean, not I'm only 30. I don't want to make it seem like I'm some old head here. I do get called onk though. I even feel like in my lifetime I've seen that shift take place where I've seen like very competitive, nasty things go on between media members themselves and wars taking place, as opposed to now, again, it seems like a very friendly setting where if there is a level of competition, it's a healthy one.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that there aren't, occasionally short tempers. Very similarly to on the field, camp's long,
hey,
it's hot. Everybody's
time where you gotta
miserable.
get it out. Yeah, get out of your system right now.
Like there's going to be some things said from time to time, but I think it's a pretty solid group we got here, and pretty welcoming.
I'm hoping when I'm there on Friday, it's like I'm like the Joker walking away from the hospital. I'm gonna light a match and walk away. I'm gonna start some beef there. Probably between Carter and somebody else. I haven't decided who the other participant is gonna be yet, but that's my approach. Hey, we normally give shout outs on here for people that subscribe to SN Plus. We gotta give a shout out to our guy Snooty though, who sent you a picture last night, and then you relayed this to me. Now, just looking at this image, you could tell clearly, like in a hospital setting, my man's wife given birth, and he's got the afternoon drive on the TV in the room as he awaits the arrival of his child. This is unbelievable, Alan.
Snooty wins podcast listener of the year, maybe
Thomas
of all time award. And very happy to report a healthy baby girl, and everybody's doing good. So that's great. But that's real dedication to your fandom there. And also shout out to Mrs. Snooty, because not every wife would be necessarily so encouraging of her husband's pastimes in that setting. I think she was in the hospital for a long time. So talk about patience wearing thin. That's a pretty solid that's a solid move there. We're super happy to have old Snoots in the audience, and that's some serious dedication.
Yeah, the one. So I do have a complaint here. This was taken landscape clearly. If it was taken the other way, I would have been able to have it at a better size on the screen right now.
You get some photo pointers. Okay.
No, but that's awesome, and congratulations, obviously, on the child. Very happy that Zacharina, I assume is the name, has joined the Steelers Afternoon Drive audience. So
Yeah, we got one. The audience grew by one. Now, I'm not sure she has a YouTube
Make
account.
a YouTube.
Yeah, we got to get her a YouTube account, get her subscribed, and there we go.
Yeah, it always asks me, like, is the video made for children or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No is the answer, but in this case, yes. For cool children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that anything else, Alan, before we get out of here?
Oh, yeah, I think that's it.
Exciting day and exciting times. Excited to do another one of these tomorrow. And then, hey, tomorrow is basically, work-wise for me, my day job. Tomorrow's my Friday, so I'm going to be really excited and juiced up on the podcast here tomorrow. So excited about that. But until tomorrow, Alan, tell the people they can find you.
Saunders _PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now is the site's account. SteelersNow.com. Go there, read the words so I can get paid. Sign up for SN Plus, and you read the words with no ads, and you get special access to all the best content from me, DB, and the whole rest of the Steelers Now team. Plus, our Steelers Now members only live streams, which are coming up around the corner. Here's Return the Calendar to August. We got to get a date locked in for that. But DB will be here this weekend as well, so it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that content we're going to be able to put out together. It's going to be fun.
$4 a month is it that I feel like having your name sit on here and just scrolling across the bottom. That's worth it.
Yeah, I haven't updated those in a while. There may be some new ones I need to get to. I gotta
okay,
get on
well,
that.
if you are a new one, you'll be in the rotation here soon and get a shout out here in the very near future as well. But anybody completely free can subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we just mentioned, along with liking and hitting that notification bell as we sit here with our subscriber count of, isn't this fitting, 16,100. The number 77. Spent a lot of time talking about Broderick Jones. Marvell Smith was 77, correct?
Yeah. I'll go Will Wolford, guard back in the 90s.
Did you say Did you say good guard?
He was a guard. Yeah, he was a guard. Yeah, he was a good guard. He was a Pro Bowler. Will Wolford. He had played, I want to say, with the Rams, maybe. He came to the Steelers later in his career. Mike DeFabo tweeted, he's from Latrobe or Latrobe. I need to get DeFabo's take on this. But he tweeted, he's staying at his parents' house during training camp, and he tweeted an old autograph book he had from coming to training camp. And Will Wolford was one of the names on that autograph book that he tweeted, along with Mike Tomczak and nobody else I can remember.
Oh, I got a niche obscure name, actually, around the 412 podcast guest in the past, Derwin Gray.
Derwin Gray. There you go. 77.
I think he's trying to, he has in the past. I think he's really trying to step into it now, getting into the media space and got his own podcast.
Yeah, he had a podcast with someone, another former Steelers player, I think. Maybe, if I'm remembering that correctly.
It seems to be a thing now. A lot of people doing a podcast. But that's why we're so appreciative of the people that choose to spend, 30-ish minutes with us every single day. You got a lot of options out there. So very humbled that you choose to spend, 30-ish minutes listening to Alan and I talk ball every single Monday through Friday. But anyways, before we get too sappy, also leave us a 5-star review and subscribe on your favorite audio platform, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from. You can do that over there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok, and then you'll find me everywhere. Zachary Smith, PGH, for Alan Saunders and myself. Thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.